Hello, and welcome back to Helpful Human Design Tips. We are talking today about the channel of rhythm. If we're going to talk about the law of rhythm, then I guess we have to talk about the channel of rhythm. I wasn't initially going to talk about this. I was going to talk about something else. But then when I checked my daily view of where the sun was placing which gate it was in, today it went into gate 5, which is part of the channel of rhythm. So it was like fate, right? Synchronicity. We had to jump on board. Okay, so the channel of rhythm is channel 5 through 15. It connects from the G center to the sacral center, and it is all about kind of being in your own rhythm and routine. This is one of those channels that I think is very interesting. It's also part of your Penta. If you are in a group of 3 to 5, the channel of rhythm is in that chart, and it can be I feel like it can be very significant. Okay. We only have in my family of 4. My husband is the only one who has this particular channel defined, and I have been observing it this past year. And he has always been a very, I don't want to say always routine about things, but when he gets into a particular rhythm, then the rest of us can kind of like borrow that energy and latch onto that rhythm. But sometimes he is very, I don't want to say sporadic. I guess I could say sporadic. He has an undefined root center. So he doesn't have that like pressure like the root center does, where you have these like pulses of adrenaline and momentum coming up and like running through your channels. This channel of rhythm is very like chill and relaxed. Okay. And so in these past 2 years, maybe 3 years, he has gotten into a workout rhythm that has worked for him really well. In the past, he's been pretty consistent with working out, but he has not like found that one thing where he can just like do over and over again. He's like gone in like spurts of running, and then maybe he'll like injure himself or he'll do this, but he kind of gets bored with it. But in the last 3 years, he has found this particular workout routine that has just like it's rocked his world. And so he has been like super, super crazy consistent with it. And I have borrowed that energy in the last 3 years. And normally, I go in spurts of working out, but when he is working out, I'm just like, oh, okay, it's time to work out. So I just go and work out. And then he has gotten my 12-year-old into this like rhythm of like doing some workouts and being active in the morning. And it's really interesting because my husband has also been traveling a lot this past year, and I have noticed that when he is here, we will work out with him because he just like, he has this fixed routine because he has this channel defined. And so we will all naturally be like, okay, yeah, it's time to work out. Dad's working out. But when he is gone for like a week, it's like a free-for-all here, which is like really interesting. Like we will get our workouts in, like hit or miss, it's always commonly the first thing that pushes off to the side, right? Like if I'm running late in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'll get my workout in later. And then inevitably I don't. So it's been interesting to see it in that regard. And when I noticed that it was because he had this channel of rhythm defined, I was like, of course, that's what it is. And I have seen it in other areas of our life where he has been like, we homeschool, and he's like, oh, well, you just need to get on a consistent routine. You need to like get up and you need to start at this time, and then you need to do this, and then you need to do this and everything. And I've never been able to follow it. And since he is not necessarily taking the charge in that particular avenue, like it's, again, I can't do it. Like, for me, that does not feel good for my life. Having a very fixed routine about things doesn't feel good for my life. But for him, it absolutely works. And so I feel like this is one of those things that we really need to honor about ourselves. If you have this channel defined, then you might have absolutely no problem at all, like getting up, eating your breakfast at this time, working out, getting dressed. Like, this is the order I do things in. But not everybody has that, and it feels really terrible to like stick to someone else's routine. You can borrow it when you want to try to establish your own habits and everything, but if you don't have that channel defined, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And this is just one area in human design where it's kind of like rhythmic, right? Your root center is also very rhythmic, but it's also a very personal rhythm in everything. So for instance, I have my channel 952 defined, which is like, I think it's a channel of concentration. And I can really sit still for like hours and like stare off into space, or I can like work on something for hours and like build this momentum in everything. And, then it can shoot off into my sacral and, I can just like flow for days probably, but I can't establish like routines. And so I think it's just really interesting to see these different channels in human design and how they play out. And that even if you do have one of these things defined, you might not be able to always, people are not always aware of how to borrow it or if it feels right. It's very interesting. And I thought it was a fascinating synchronicity that the sun like moved into gate 5, which was part of this channel. And I also think it's very interesting that as we are going through our lives and we are recognizing our own rhythms and the way energy is moving through us and how, energy is moving through other people, and we can reflect that when we choose. I love it. It's such a beautiful, intricate system that, of exploration and observation. And so, yeah, honor your energy. And if you have the law of rhythm, like, it's even more important, or if you have the channel of rhythm, it's probably even more important for you to, listen to your body and recognize when, you need to break your rhythm. So for instance, okay, I'm going to give you another example. My husband, he is very, he's very rhythmic with his exercises. But he very recently like switched it up a little bit. It's kind of the same stuff, but he like has increased the intensity a little bit, and he was doing it in the same rhythm that he was doing his other exercises, but it was kind of breaking down his body. And so he had to switch his rhythm. So even if you have this channel of rhythm, you still have to listen to your body, and you still have to tune into your own rhythm and be willing to switch it up every once in a while and be flexible, because things change all the time. And I think that, that is the only consistent that we have in this world, is the change in the changing of the seasons and like the changing of these rhythms and being able to adapt to them all the time. So I loved the synchronicity of this. So I had to share, even though it kind of threw off my rhythm of like, this is what I was going to talk about. And I was ready to talk about this. And then I was like, oh, well, I got to talk about this. So anyways, channel of rhythm, just beautifully syncing up with the law of rhythm this month. If you have this channel defined, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it and, just see what kind of rhythms you have in your life, because I think it's very interesting to see how easily I think the concept of like building and maintaining habits is such a very, popular concept. There have been so many books about it. I know that Atomic Habits, can't remember the author off the top of my head, but it was a very, very fascinating book. And The Miracle Morning by Hal Hal Elrond, I think that's his name. These concepts of like building habits and then like, maintaining them so that you can have a more productive life, I think is really interesting. But I do wonder if like people who build or who have books about habits, I do wonder if they have this channel defined, which is why they're like, yeah, it's super easy to build and maintain these habits. So this is how you do it. And then all the rest of us are like, why can't I stick with this? So what's going on? You might not have this defined in your chart, and that is completely fine. I think, that's one of those things that you have to like take what you can, work with you can, do your own thing. But yeah, fascinating stuff. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys this week, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Bye.